The LPGA just did everything that the WNBA should have been doing this season. They did it all correct in literally one day.
So Caitlin Clark played golf during the week, and obviously it was a big deal. Surprisingly enough, an almost bigger deal than Unrivaled.
This is proof that the LPGA may be making fun of the WNBA. Caitlin Clark's golf outing sparked a media frenzy, with 7 million impressions on LPGA posts. The WNBA fails to even name its own future star, allegedly misreading her name, while other leagues capitalize on celebrity, a significant departure from their usual participation. The underlying conflict is difficult to ignore due to the timing and tone of the LPGA's posts. This goes beyond mere speculation. The WNBA, where Caitlin Clark is scheduled to play, has been remarkably quiet, despite the fact that other leagues and sportsmen have praised her basketball prowess as a new force in women's sports. Even worse, there are stories of missed opportunities that demonstrate the WNBA's disregard for its own golden ticket, ranging from advertising mistakes to complete omissions. Let's take a step back and consider why this is so important.
So I talked about it in a previous video how this Pro-Am event originally wasn't even going to be televised, but there were so many fans who were emailing the organization saying, how can we watch Caitlin? Can we come to the event? Can you live stream it? All of these things. And it ended up being put on television.
The LPGA took advantage of Caitlin Clark's celebrity power when she competed at a golf event, and social media erupted with tweets like, "Who doesn't love Caitlin Clark?" that looked to be both a praise to Clark and a jab at the WNBA. Caitlin Clark is more than just an athlete. Her games have drawn large audiences, and her appeal has garnered admirers from all walks of life. She is a cultural force.
Caitlin Clark played some golf, and what we saw from Caitlin Clark playing golf was the LPGA being really happy about it.
There is more to the LPGA's success with Clark than simply rumors. The figures are self-explanatory. Content about her golf performance: she garnered over 34 million impressions, which was a huge victory for a league like the LPGA, which frequently struggles to attract such a wide audience. They took advantage of Clark's ability to attract attention. However, the question remains, why hasn't the WNBA followed suit? This causes a more serious problem. The WNBA has long struggled to promote its players, in stark contrast to the NBA, which turns sportsmen into global icons.
Gotten to this stage now where it seems like they're just trolling the WNBA. Like, at this stage, I think they're just trolling the WNBA.
The WNBA has frequently failed to make the most of its stars, even with a talent like Caitlin Clark. Given that Clark is a generational star with the ability to completely alter the league's future, this is extremely concerning. Fans, however, are perplexed by the WNBA's handling of Clark, which has involved anything from misspelling her name in official publications to removing her from promotional campaigns. On the other hand, leagues including as the WTA have quickly embraced Clark's star power.
You see here, this is days later, nothing but love for Caitlin Clark over here. Constantly saying, like, it's always, everything is like, who doesn't love Caitlin Clark? Like, all of these posts are like...
Major League Baseball players and soccer players have expressed their appreciation for her. One of the greatest sports giants, Serena Williams, complimented Clark's skill and resilience, pointing out how she manages the intense strain of the spotlight. These endorsements demonstrate how much other sports value Clark. Caitlin Clark is a brand in addition to an athlete. However, the LPGA's strategy seems different. It's a strategy, not just esteem. They have positioned themselves to benefit from Clark's fame by associating with her. This goes beyond simply increasing engagement. It is succeeding in its goal of attracting a new audience. Even non-LPGA fans are now drawn in by Caitlin Clark's allure.
The LPGA was promoting the crap out of this event. And they also did something really smart by pairing her up with their currently #1 golfer in the world. And her name is Nelly Korda.
This is a smart move for the LPGA. It's a complete failure for the WNBA. What is causing the WNBA to make mistakes? Some claim that the league's culture is to blame. In contrast to the NBA, which relies heavily on star power and charisma, the WNBA has struggled to balance player promotion with team relationships. Players like Caitlin Clark, who may represent the league, are left in the dark as a result of this. Others point to structural constraints that make it more difficult for the WNBA to compete with leagues like the LPGA, such as limited resources and smaller marketing budgets. However, the result is always the same: a lost opportunity, regardless of the cause. Posts like "Nothing but love for Caitlin Clark" may appear harmless, but given the WNBA's silence, they take on a new meaning. In contrast, the LPGA's praise for Clark feels targeted, almost like a message. It is difficult to avoid seeing this as trolling, a strategy to highlight the shortcomings of the WNBA while promoting their own league. There is more to this than just Caitlin Clark. In a world of sports where leagues struggle to make women's sports relevant, it's about what she represents. Because athletes like Caitlin Clark are exceptional, this competition is even more important. They may increase crowds, attract new supporters, and completely elevate their sport. Fans are realizing that the WNBA made a grave error by failing to take advantage of this opportunity. There is a lot of talk on social media about how other leagues are taking advantage of Clark's fame while the WNBA is falling behind. It is deemed underwhelming by many. Now in the spotlight is the LPGA, a league that recognized Clark's potential and acted quickly. However, the story doesn't stop there. The league that Caitlin Clark will shortly join ought to be spearheading her cause. Rather, Clark's success on the LPGA raises significant concerns about women's sports going forward. Will leagues like the WNBA continue to lose out on opportunities to develop, or can they learn from this and make adjustments? One thing is definite for the time being. The future development of women's sports will depend on its foundation and the responses to these queries. The LPGA is aware of Caitlin Clark's fame. Even though their regard is genuine, it also serves as a powerful reminder of the WNBA's shortcomings. The LPGA's actions appear to be trolling, whether intentional or not, and they are powerful. Fans are waiting for the WNBA to respond to their notice. There is more to the Caitlin Clark effect than just big plays and media attention. It now reflects how different leagues handle their stars. The WNBA's silence is deafening as the LPGA revels in Caitlin's fame. This dynamic raises important issues about whether Caitlin Clark's ascent will help everyone accept the league she is supposed to join and whether the WNBA can overcome this. Let's examine the perspectives of athletes and spectators in various sports regarding the Caitlin Clark narrative and its implications for the larger sports world. Star players increase interest, ticket sales, and brand loyalty in all professional sports. Think of Michael Jordan in the NBA or Serena Williams in tennis. Beyond their athletic endeavors, these individuals are cultural icons. The same potential exists in Caitlin Clark. The difference is in whether or not leagues choose to employ it. Take note of how the LPGA responded to Clark. They created a win-win situation by matching their brand with hers as soon as they viewed her draw. While Clark acquired acclaim in another sport, the LPGA gained access to her enormous fan base. This is not a one-time action, but rather a deliberate growth strategy. The WNBA's efforts have been cautious in contrast. Despite having a player who might attract millions of viewers to their league, their marketing strategies have been ineffective. This is a persistent problem with the WNBA's star promotion that existed before Clark. Even though they are excellent athletes, players like A.A. Wilson and Breanna Stewart don't have the same level of international recognition as their male NBA peers. The league's failure to elevate its stars has long annoyed fans. Organizations outside of the LPG recognize Clark's value. Athletes in leagues for a variety of sports, including football and tennis, have openly applauded Clark, pointing out her skill and perseverance. Tennis legends like Caroline Wozniacki have even expressed a desire to play doubles with her due to the enormous crowd she would attract. This goes beyond simple compliments. It's a strategy. Caitlin Clark is seen by other leagues as a conduit to new supporters. And by associating with her, they are using her notoriety to develop their own businesses. This approach demonstrates a thorough understanding of the contemporary sports environment, where awareness and participation are just as important as performance. The WNBA's reluctance to adopt this tactic is peculiar. Some fans speculate that this is because of internal politics or a fear of upstaging existing stars rather than utilizing Clark's burgeoning star. In any event, the outcome is the same. A missed opportunity that other leagues would gladly seize. Social media greatly influences public opinion in the modern day. The LPGA's treatment of Caitlin Clark is a masterclass in the use of digital technologies, based on the statistics. They created a powerful wave of engagement that increased their visibility by flooding their feeds with news about Clark. This was a huge victory for a league like the LPGA that frequently seeks attention, with 34 million impressions across all media due to the excitement surrounding Caitlin Clark. Outside of their current fanbase, their posts attracted new fans. But the WNBA hasn't been able to generate the same kind of excitement. Their social media posts frequently seem reactive rather than proactive, wasting opportunities to attract new followers. For a league looking to expand, this is a serious problem. The division inside the WNBA itself is one of the story's most perplexing aspects. While some players have publicly supported Caitlin Clark, others have been more circumspect. This division is indicative of a larger issue facing the league. The WNBA struggles to strike a balance between team worth and individual star power. For instance, LeBron James and Stephen Curry are marketed as brands, which benefits the league as a whole. By emphasizing team identity above individual stars, the WNBA has shied away from that paradigm, which runs the danger of alienating fans who are drawn to certain individuals. This conflict is made evident by the Caitlin Clark scandal. Her gameplay and captivating personality make her a sure star, but the league's reluctance to embrace her completely points to an internal conflict over how to deal with individualism. The WNBA is a league that is still expanding, and expansion entails risk. There are many benefits to taking on a celebrity like Caitlin Clark, but there are also perceived risks. This exacerbates a fear of change. What if other players become envious if Clark receives a lot of attention? What happens if team cohesiveness suffers? These are legitimate concerns, but they shouldn't overshadow the main objective. Because of her unique ability to draw crowds and create hype, Caitlin Clark is desperately needed by the WNBA. Ignoring her is more than simply a lost opportunity. Let's return to the LPGA's role in this. There's more to their welcome of Caitlin Clark than meets the eye. It seems deliberate, almost intentional. Posts such as, "Who doesn't love Caitlin Clark?" are more than just compliments. It's a perfect example of the trolling strategies used by the LPGA. A larger discussion about how leagues treat their players and the significance of women's sports and its success has been sparked by the veiled jabs at the WNBA's poor handling of its star. Both fans and commentators have observed the contrast between the WNBA's silence and the LPGA's fervor. The LPGA's astute trolling has drawn attention from the WNBA, indicating that visibility is crucial in today's sports environment. The WNBA runs the risk of falling farther behind by failing to capitalize on Caitlin Clark's celebrity. What does this signify going forward? The story of Caitlin Clark serves as an example of how leagues may either take advantage of a huge chance or build on a single athlete. The LPGA's work with Clark should serve as a wake-up call for the WNBA because it shows what happens when a league recognizes the importance of star power and takes appropriate action. The league has the skill, the audience, and the potential to become a major power in the world. However, a fresh strategy that prioritizes individualism, makes marketing investments, and seizes opportunities to draw attention to the league is required to get there. Caitlin Clark is the future of women's sports, not just the WNBA. The league's future will be shaped by how it responds to her ascent. The WNBA must decide whether to change or risk becoming obsolete while the LPGA continues to ride the wave of her fame. The league's future and its place in the larger sports world are in jeopardy. Even while the LPGA's trolling appears lighthearted, it conveys a serious message. Stars stimulate interest in sports, and interest stimulates growth. Leagues that understand this will thrive. The WNBA currently has the upper hand. People who don't adapt will fall behind. Whether they will seize this chance or simply ignore it is the question.